Minecraft has been an essential part of my childhood, and one thing I look forward about it the most are the mob votes. And of course, over the years we've had lots of mobs added as per the votes, but there are also lots of mobs that we will never ever see get added onto the game. What we also see in the community is people designing and adding their own custom mobs into their servers. So what I wanted to try to do this video is create mobs I would like to see in Minecraft that aren't in Minecraft yet. So sit back, get comfy, and let's get started with this video. For my first design, I'm going to transport you guys into the end dimension. And the Minecraft community has been begging Mojang to update the end because compared to the Nether, which has been recently updated, and the overworld, which is constantly being updated, compared to those two, the end is quite barren. For plants, we don't really have much going except for the chorus fruits and the chorus trees. And for the living beings, we don't really have much either, aside from the shulker boxes and of course the enderman, and perhaps the dragon as well, yes. And if we look at the overworld and the nether, they both have biomes. However, the end is the only dimension that doesn't have a biome still. And so my point is that we definitely need an end update. And one of the mobs I would definitely add into the end would be this guy that you could see in the screen right now. And he is called a Void Strider. So the idea process for this guy is that when it comes to jumping from island to island in the end, it can be a bit tricky and it also can be a bit dangerous. That danger does add to the thrill, so I wouldn't really want to take that away. However, it does get a bit annoying having to travel from island to island without having to fall into the void. This issue was also prevalent back in the nether before the update, where we had huge lakes, huge oceans of lava, and there was no way for us to get across them without having to build across it. And Mojang's solution to that was adding the Striders, which are basically these weird two-legged creatures that you could put a saddle on and ride across the lava. So my question is, why can't we have something similar in the end? And this is where this guy comes along. So a Void Strider spawns very rarely, and you could see them near the kind of not deeper end, but kind of shallow end of the void where they are still reachable. They have adapted to alive in the void, and they create these natural platforms that they could stand on that also disappears as they walk through. You could see at the top left of the screen how I would imagine these Void Striders could cross from island to island via these temporary platforms that they create. And since they have adapted to alive in the void, they have these anglerfish looking kind of vibe going on to them, and they have this light that I guess helps them see in the void. And if a player were to kill a Void Strider, they will drop what I call a Void Light. So this provides us another light source, but it has a twist. It palpitates like a heartbeat. So it doesn't give us a constant light source like what a torch or lantern would do, and instead it will go from dim to bright at a constant pace. And like a Strider, you would need a saddle in order to actually ride this creature. However, unlike the Strider, you won't need a source of food to coax it to move. It would be kind of like a horse where you could just tame it and you would be able to move it however you please. At the bottom left of the screen, you guys could see that this Strider, this Void Strider, can actually get aggressive. Like an Enderman and like an Iron Golem, if you were to hit this creature, they will fight back, and they will emit a sound similar to what an Enderman would sound like when they're angry. And whenever they are angry, the Endermans will try to avoid them. So before I show you guys the final design, I wanted to imitate the Void Strider in Minecraft's art style. The thing is, I don't have a 3D programming app in my iPad, and I'm not really sure about spending £20 in Nomad Sculpt, so I'm basically collaging a bunch of pre-existing Minecraft mobs to create my mob. And as you guys could see, I've used the Guardian for the kind of template for this mob I'm creating. I did shorten the tail a little bit because in my original design I didn't want to make the tail too long, so I did cut it off a bit. As for its teeth, I did use stalagmites or stalactites as the teeth base, just because they're the only triangular type of shape I could remember in Minecraft. And of course, I used the Strider's legs but made it a bit longer in order to attach it to this creature, because this creature is going to be slightly taller than the Strider in the nether. Guys, we'll see in just a second that for its angler light, I did use a frog light and recolored it. I just thought it would be really, really cute. For my next mob, I'm going to take you guys back to the overworld, specifically the cherry blossom biome. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the other biomes that are also quite recent, for example, like the mangrove swamp. Aside from the new mangrove swamp trees that gives us new variants of logs, we also have the frogs that could spawn in the mangrove swamp, as well as the old swamps as well. We also have the pale gardens that provides us with that nice, really unusually colored log, and of course the creaking. So my point is that the more recent biomes that we are given, there's new mobs that have been added to them to add into the ambiance. Even the mountain biomes have like the goats spawning in them at some point, but not the cherry blossom biome. I've been told that bees are more likely to spawn in the cherry blossom biome, but I wouldn't really say that they're unique to that biome. What I wanted are mobs that are unique to these newer biomes. But unfortunately, we didn't really get that from the cherry blossom biome, but we did for the other more recent ones, which I find quite strange. So what I wanted to do for this particular biome is give it a mob that is a bit more special to it. So what you guys can see in the screen right now is what I call the cherry bug. The cherry bug is the nicer, smaller cousin of the ghast, so that's why you guys could see that there's a bit of a similarity with their structure. And instead of shrieking and attacking you as soon as they see you, these little guys will actually sing as soon as they see a player walk past. You would find these guys flying around the cherry blossom biome, but of course you could also see them sitting down on one of the branches and singing whenever a player walks past. And the reason why I think they would be a good addition to this particular biome is that it gives the players a reason to keep going back if their base is not already in the cherry blossom biome. Personally, if my base is not in the cherry blossom biome, I will go there for the tree, for the sapling, and never return. And I'll just plant that sapling on wherever my base is, and you will never see me go back to that biome because, again, there is no reason for me to go back. But having these guys naturally spawn in there gives the player a reason for why they should keep coming back if they want to, collect these guys and take them back home, for example. They also add auditory ambiance to this biome, which would make it a bit more unique compared to the other biomes as well. Typically when people talk about ambiance, they talk about it in a more visual sense. However, for this mob, I'm talking about it in a way that it's also visual but also auditory. So when these guys sing, it actually really sounds nice and it provides the player a different experience when they go through this particular biome. In terms of this mob's mechanic, any being or player that harms this mob in any way will get the poison effect. The cherry bug won't actually attack you and chase after you like what a bee would do, except it will try to run away, but once it's running away, you will get a poison effect, or whoever does damage it will get a poison effect. This includes any other hostile mobs, such as a zombie or a skeleton, for example. They will all have the poison effect. And in terms of the longevity of its effect, it would last the same amount as a witch's poison. So when it comes down to it, you might have half a heart left and you will also lose a friend, because once you damage this creature, it will try to avoid you as much as possible. It will try to fly away. On the other hand, if you were to feed the cherry bug any type of flower, at some point it will drop one of 3 cherry pips. Depending on the color of the cherry pip that it drops, which is at random, the player that eats this fruit will gain the regen effect. The peach colored cherry pip will give you about 8 seconds of regen. The pink colored cherry pip will give you about 16 seconds of regen. and the red colored cherry pip will give you about 30 seconds of regen. And I got this idea because if you were to get a ghast tear and put that in a potion, that gives you the regen effect. So I thought that it'd be really cute if I were to add that kind of effect onto this creature as well, because they're supposed to be the cousins of the ghast. Speaking of the ghast, this is my attempt in turning the cherry bug into an actual Minecraft 3D model. And of course, the first thing I did was grab the model of the ghast and repurposed it. So I know that I could have easily made a cube, but I really like the ghast pattern as well, and I wanted to include that for the cherry bug just because, again, they're related. Now, I have no clue how many of those kind of tentacle legs the ghast actually has. I thought they had 6, but who knows. And instead of 6 legs, I thought that for the cherry bug, since they're smaller, they have 4 legs. The wings, as you guys could see, I took them from the bee and kind of recolored them to make them a bit more kind of fitting to this particular creature. And you guys saw from my drawing earlier, I did give them some cherry blossom petals on their head, and that's what I'm attempting to do right now, but that did take quite a while because I didn't realize how neon bright pink the cherry blossom petals are. So that's why you could see me try to kind of neutralize the tone a little bit more without it having to blend with the creature. Well, that's it for this video. I know that it's quite short, but that's because I wasn't entirely sure how you guys felt about Minecraft. We haven't really spoke about Minecraft in this channel too often. I might have mentioned it here and there, but not really a huge discussion like this, especially when it comes to its mobs, because Minecraft is literally one of my favorite games, so I would like to talk about it more. And maybe at some point I'll create a let's play video and you guys can witness my pro skills. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate the support, and if you guys would like me to make more videos like these in the future, do let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next Mango Monday. Bye!